Welcome back to the Anthony Lee Crypto channel. Guys, today we're going to dive into the altcoins. What I want to do is encourage you to take a look at this altcoin with an open mind, okay? I know what you want to hear. Everybody wants to hear that their coin is going to 50x, 100x. I get it. I want to hear that too, okay? But listen to me. I've been through 3 bull markets and I'm now in my 3rd bear market, okay? And I'm not saying I'm always correct, okay? But I know how these things go, okay? We're going to look at the coin from a technical standpoint. How many of you a few weeks ago, as your coin was going up 60, 70, 100%, was listening to the influencers telling you this time is different, super cycle, Bitcoin dominance is headed down, alt season is here, blah, 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 blah. And today your coin is probably down 50%. Okay, don't listen to the noise. Okay, we're going to look from a technical standpoint. Okay, I don't know about your fundamentals of your coin. I don't know any of that kind of stuff. We can't predict what may happen later, what partnerships may come in, what scandals may come up. We can't predict those types of things, but what we can predict and know for a fact are things like tokenomics, circulating supply, technical analysis. Those things don't change. So we can look at it from a technical standpoint and take a realistic approach to what this coin might do. If anything comes later, like some sort of hopium or some sort of deal or some sort of thing like that in the economy with your coin, where it gets worldwide mass adoption, great, that's a bonus. But be prepared for less, okay? Or be prepared for a more realistic target. The biggest mistake I made in my first cycle was listening to everyone else who said that my coin was going to 50, 60x. And as I sat here and watched it 10 and 15x, which was great, I didn't take profit because I was waiting on that 50x because I believed the narrative. And I wound up writing that coin all the way back down and round tripping it, right? I learned from that mistake. If you're not at least open-minded to hearing what a conservative approach would be, then you're only showing your inexperience in this market. So don't be inexperienced. If you are inexperienced, at least try to learn, okay? If I think your coin's going to 100x, I'm going to tell you that. If I think it's going to 5x, I'm going to tell you that. If I think it's going to 0, I'm going to tell you that. I'm going to keep it real with you. I know I could get way more clicks by just coming in and shouting 100x, but that's not going to serve you anything good in the future. So let's take a realistic approach to these coins, and we'll see if we can figure out where a good bull market top is going to be. Let's take a look at the charts. Here we go. All right, y'all, taking a look at Litecoin. I am on the weekly Binance chart. Now, please don't shoot the messenger, guys. I know there's a lot of Litecoin fans out there, but in my opinion, we have some really, really bad news. And I don't care about your fundamentals. As I said earlier, if this thing takes off and it is the new Bitcoin like it was once hyped up to be, then so be it, a bonus for you. However, the technicals on this thing are awful. So let's dive in and take a look, and I will tell you why I think you should jump ship immediately and find better opportunities. But at the end of the day, this is not financial advice, and that is for you to decide. So Litecoin has been around forever. I'm not showing all of the price action on Litecoin. It goes way back to 2014. Some of these prices down around $1. I don't think that's relevant to today or the next cycle. So we're just going to exclude that for this analysis. You set a price all-time high in May of 2021 of $413. Now, you had a market cap at the time of $27.8 billion and a circulating supply of 67 million. Enter a bear market. Looking at the next cycle, which was this past cycle, December of 2024, you set a cycle high of $147. That is significantly less than your all-time high. I mean, a massive underperformance, you might would say, of about 65% less, 65% off your all-time high. So that's a big drop from cycle 1 to cycle 2. During cycle 2, instead of a $27.8 billion market cap, you only had an $11 billion market cap. Now, you did add about 10% to your circulating supply, but still 10% more for a 65% dip. That math doesn't add up. So this coin is losing steam. It is losing its momentum. It is being phased out. Looking at today's price action, you have a price of $46, $3.5 billion market cap, and 77 million coins. So you've added a little bit of coins, but not too bad. It's pretty negligible. by the estimated top of next cycle, Q4 2029, maybe it's a little before, maybe it's a little after, it doesn't really matter. You'll have about 80 million coins in circulation. And you can see that over here on the Litecoin circulating supply chart. The bottom orange line is where the number of tokens, 67 million at your all-time high. And then your next cycle circulating supply should be right here around 80 million. So just a constant curve up, and you've added about 20% to the market since all-time high. Now, here's where it gets important. Let's look at your market cap for Litecoin, okay? I'm looking at the market cap on the weekly, and you can see the all-time high market cap up here at $27.8 billion. And if we fib that from that cycle high in 2021 to the bear market low market cap, you can see you just made it up between the 236 and 382. That is a massive underperformance. It's one of the worst, especially of the major altcoins. It is one of the worst. Retraces. Most of them at least made it to the golden pocket or 786, and a handful of them made new all-time high market caps, okay? So this tells me, and looking back at price here, you've actually set lower lows on the macro. You've taken out your bear market low. Now, you didn't take out the wick, but you don't have to do that. You took it out on a closing basis, and you can see that on the line charts. You actually took this out on a closing basis already. So you have now flipped macro bearish, and I don't mean just for the bear market. I mean the life of the coin. You've now flipped to a bearish structure where you had higher highs and higher lows, and now you're having lower highs and now lower lows. And I don't think this is over with either. I do think we come significantly lower. So you can expect a lower low to come in, which we already have one, and then another lower high, and just rinse and repeat, in my opinion. So knowing that we didn't even make the 382 on the last cycle, let's throw the fib on from last cycle high to current bear market low on market cap. The fib is not going to work on price, guys, because you have an increased circulating supply. You've added 20% from 67 million to about 80 million in the next cycle, so you cannot fib this. It doesn't work. This Fibonacci would only work on price if your circulating supply remained the same, but it did not. However, market cap is linear, so you can fib a market cap. Now, if Litecoin performs a little better this cycle, and I don't mean takes out the last cycle's market cap, but if it just comes above the 236 to 382 level, which it did not do last time, let's say you maybe retrace. I could see you retrace back up to the golden pocket here at $8 billion. I'm going to say that's probably about what you're going to do in this next cycle. Anywhere between $7 and $8 billion would be my projection. And we could go back and look at what that would translate to price. And your formula for calculating price is market cap divided by circulating supply. Let's estimate an $8 billion market cap divided by 80 million tokens, and that's going to give you a price of $100. And honestly, guys, I think that's being generous. I really could see this winding up between more closer to the $7 billion market cap, which would give you a price somewhere closer to $90. So I think anywhere between $90 and $100 is a good price. I don't think this is over, this dump. If Bitcoin certainly rolls over in Q4 like we anticipate, like it always has, you could look for lower prices to come here. I would actually look for anywhere between a $20 and $30 Litecoin, which you could possibly 5x up to about $100, okay? So my maximum price prediction for Litecoin would be a 5x, and that's if you could get it down around $20, okay? Anywhere between a 4 to 5x would be a reasonable target, in my opinion. Please let me know what you think down below in the comments. Let me know if there's any other altcoins you want me to look at. I'll be happy to take a look at them for you. I'll run the tokenomics, not based upon fundamentals, just what the price action is showing, what the market cap is showing, what the circulating supply is showing, the complete tokenomics. Go ahead and like the stream and give us a subscribe. I'm going to be doing Litecoin and other altcoin updates very often as we progress through this next cycle. So join us. We would love to have you. I will see you guys next time.